Welcome to English Podcast for Listening and Speaking. This channel will help you improve your English skills. Now, let's get started.
Today, we're tackling a really interesting set of ideas, all focused on something I think we all ponder. How do we actually, create the life we want? And maybe more importantly, how do we get past whatever seems to be holding us back?
Yeah, what really jumped out at me from this material is how it speaks directly to that feeling maybe you have.
Yeah.
Where you're great at cheering others on, but your own dreams feel, well, it's stuck on the back burner. If that sounds like you, then this deep dive should be really helpful.
Exactly. So our goal today, using this lesson as our guide, is to get practical about building that ideal life. We want to look at how you can get super clear on what that life actually looks like for you, and also pinpoint those things, internal and external, that often stop us.
Right, and understand how building up that self-belief, actually investing in yourself, can be just so powerful in making things happen.
We'll also get into why consistency is just absolutely vital. You can't skip that.
Mm-hmm. And what happens when what you say and what you do finally click together, and what it really takes to get on the same wavelength, the same frequency as the results you're looking for. So, okay, where do we start with all this? It's a lot.
Well, the first big step, according to the source material, is getting really, really specific about what you want, your desired reality. There's this analogy they use, like needing a blueprint for a house or knowing your destination before you travel. You can't really build something solid or get somewhere specific without knowing what it is, right?
That's so true. Just vaguely wanting things to be better. It doesn't give your mind anything concrete to work with. It doesn't work. This material really pushes for some honest self-reflection. Like asking yourself, okay, beyond the surface stuff, what kind of person do I really want to be? What kind of life would actually make me feel proud, peaceful, genuinely happy?
And the lesson contrasts this clearly, doesn't it? Like, I want to be rich versus something super specific like, I aim to earn $10,000 a month for my online handmade crafts business within a year. That specificity it emphasizes is what gives you focus, real direction.
Exactly. And what's interesting is how it immediately links that clarity to taking action. Once you have that clearer picture, it says, okay, now look at the behaviors that might be, working against you. Things like putting things off, fear of failing, that negative voice in your head, or maybe just giving up too easily. Those are often the first places to look.
It also talks about finding inspiration, which I liked. Think about people you admire, not just what they did, but how. What steps did they take? Can you learn something practical from them? And the key is just pick one thing, one small step you can actually do.
Yeah, maybe it's just 15 minutes a day learning something new, or even just catching one negative thought and challenging it. Small starts.
There's that example in there, too, about the friend who wanted out of a job she hated.
Oh, right, the graphic designer one.
Yeah. She didn't just vaguely want freedom. She got specific. Setting her own hours, using her creative skills, more family time.
And that clear vision, that specificity, became the fuel for her actions. It made it real.
Okay, so you've started to define where you're headed. The next piece, the source says, is crucial. Walking away from negativity. Now, this is often easier said than done. We all know that.
Definitely. But the lesson really stresses how vital it is. Toxic energy, negative people, they can literally act like anchors.
Right.
Keeping you stuck.
And it's important to see negativity broadly here. It's not just people being openly mean.
Right. It can be subtle. People who kind of laugh off your dreams or just drain you emotionally. Those friends maybe, or even relatives sometimes. And it also flags habits like just endlessly scrolling online. How much time and mental energy does that consume? The source definitely points that out.
That story about Peter, the guy who wanted to be a speaker.
Yeah, the motivational speaker. His friends teasing him really got to him.
Exactly. It almost made him quit. It wasn't until he put some distance there from that negativity that he could actually start moving forward again.
And the practical advice is good too. Like, consciously identify what needs to go. Negative people, bad habits, comparing yourself constantly. Saying yes when you really mean no, especially if it pulls you away from your purpose.
It boils down to that question, doesn't it? Ask yourself, is this person, this habit, this thing, is it helping me or hurting my dream? Simple, but powerful.
Yeah. Okay, so this next part, I think a lot of people will recognize this feeling. Embracing the cringy phase.
Yeah. The idea that you have to be willing to feel awkward, maybe even make a fool of yourself sometimes to actually grow. Think about learning anything new, a language, an instrument, starting a business. There's always that phase where you feel clumsy, right? Like you just don't quite have it yet.
And what's great is how it normalizes that. The baby learning to walk analogy is perfect. Babies fall down constantly. We don't judge them, we encourage them. So why are we so tough on ourselves when we're trying something new?
That story of Sarah, the YouTuber.
Oh yeah, with the negative comments at the start.
Right. She pushed through that initial awkwardness, that cringe, and eventually built this huge following.
The message is basically, cringe means you're trying, and only people who try can actually change things.
It's a choice, isn't it? Temporary cringe today, or potential regret later for never starting.
Precisely. And that leads right into the next idea, becoming your own biggest investment.
Yeah, this really resonated. The source makes a clear distinction between investing in, say, stuff, clothes, phones, things that often lose value.
Right. Versus investing in yourself, your mind, your skills, your personal growth. That's the asset that truly appreciates.
It's that reminder that you are the most valuable thing you have. We spend money on gadgets easily, but investing time or even a little money in ourselves reading, learning, practicing, that's where the real payoff is.
And it calls out that contradiction we sometimes see, Someone says, I want success, but then scrolls social media for hours. It takes discipline to prioritize your own development.
But it doesn't have to be huge investments either. The source mentions free videos, library books, small habits.
Waking up a bit earlier, maybe?
Yeah.
Even small, consistent investments add up massively over time.
And that kicker question. Quite direct.
There.
If you're not willing to invest in yourself, why should the universe invest in you? Makes you think.
It really does. Okay, so this next concept might sound a bit odd at first. Becoming selfish for your growth.
Yeah, but the source clarifies quickly, doesn't it? It's not about being mean or uncaring.
Not at all. It's about strategically prioritizing your own time, your energy, focus, dreams, and your peace of mind. Protecting those things.
It's about avoiding that burnout that comes from always putting others first, saying yes when you're already drained.
Which the source calls a form of self-abandonment, actually, not kindness. True kindness, it suggests, often means having boundaries so you can help others, but from a place of strength, not depletion.
That story of Mia, the woman who catered to everyone else.
Right, until she hit a wall and realized she'd completely neglected herself.
And when she finally decided to be selfish, prioritizing her own healing, her goals, she actually got healthier, happier.
And ironically became better able to support others because she wasn't running on empty anymore.
So practically, this means saying no sometimes. No to calls that break your focus. No to parties when you need rest. No to gossip.
No to draining relationships. It's about guarding your resources, your time, your energy for what truly matters for your growth.
Okay, underlying all these actions, though, is something deeper. Believing you deserve the good things you're working towards.
Yes, this is fundamental. The lesson really hammers home how much your internal belief system dictates what you actually allow yourself to receive and experience.
It talks about how deep feelings of unworthiness can unconsciously sabotage us, even when we're trying really hard.
Those examples are powerful. Feeling awkward in a nice place, doubting a great job offer, pushing away someone loving, because deep down, you don't feel you deserve it.
And it makes that crucial point. Often, failure isn't about lack of effort. It's about carrying that weight of old shame, old negative beliefs, often without even realizing it.
Exactly. It's that strong reminder. You were born worthy. You were born enough. You have a right to dream big. We need to hear that.
And the suggested practice, daily affirmation.
Just repeating, I deserve the life I dream of. Repeating it until it starts to sink in, past the conscious mind, until you feel it.
Which ties into the next step. Actively unlearning those limiting beliefs.
Yeah, those assumptions, those rules about life we pick up somewhere along the way. Often from other people, based on their own fears or limits.
Things like, don't aim too high, or money is bad, or only lucky people get successful. These ideas can be so ingrained.
And the source gently points out, the people who gave us those beliefs, they were likely just operating from their own perspective, their own fears maybe. It wasn't necessarily malicious.
But as adults, we get to choose now. We can look at those beliefs and ask, does this still serve me? Does this align with where I want to go?
And yes, unlearning can be uncomfortable. It can challenge who we think we are, or even relationships. But the source frames it as essential for freedom, like a rebirth.
The practical step is to question them, right? Where did this belief come from? Who told me this? Why do I still hold on to it?
Exactly. Okay, now this next bit is about using your imagination actively. Feeling your desired reality now.
Ah, yes, the idea that your brain doesn't always know the difference between vivid imagination and reality.
Like the horror movie example they use. You know it's fake, but your heart still pounds, right? Your body reacts physiologically.
So the idea is to harness that. Intentionally feel the emotions of your goals already achieved.
Feel the joy of the dream house, the love of the relationship, the peace of being debt-free, the freedom of the ideal job. Whatever it is for you, feel the pride in mastering that skill.
And the exercises are simple but effective. Closing your eyes, morning and night, and just immersing yourself in that feeling. What does it look like? Sound like? Feel like in your body?
Acting as if throughout your day, too. Carrying yourself as if you already are that person living that life.
Because your feelings are like signals, right? Your emotional state, your vibration invites similar experiences.
Exactly. Focusing on lack or worry tends to attract more of that. So it's about emotional discipline, choosing to feel good, feel grateful, feel abundant before it fully shows up externally. That internal shift can actually trigger the external one.
Which leads perfectly into focusing your energy, the magnifying glass analogy.
Right. Scattered sunlight doesn't do much, but focused sunlight can start a fire. Same with our energy.
And it acknowledges how easy it is to be busy but not actually focused on the main goal. So many distractions.
The equation is simple. Energy without focus is waste. Energy with focus is power.
So the advice is, pick one main goal for now. Commit your energy there. Language learning, financial goals, fitness, whatever it is. Concentrate your effort.
It won't always be easy. You might feel lonely sometimes or want to quit when it's slow. But the reminder is key. Distraction is the enemy of destiny. Stay focused.
Okay, next up, gratitude. The source presents this as more than just being polite. It's like a magnet for more good things.
Yeah, the idea is if you don't appreciate what you have, why would you be given more? It kind of closes off the flow.
So it's about actively noticing the good stuff already here, even small things. Your phone, a bed, someone who cares.
And consciously stepping away from always comparing, always complaining about what's missing. That just keeps you focused on lack.
The practical exercises are good. Start and end the day listing things you're thankful for. Notice good things that happened. Simple.
Because that consistent practice shifts your whole vibe, doesn't it? It brings peace, contentment, and seems to just attract more positive stuff. Appreciating the journey.
Now, a big one that trips people up. Perfectionism. The source really argues against waiting for perfection.
Yes. Choose consistency over perfection. That whole, I'll start when I'm ready or when it's perfect. It's often just a delay tactic fueled by fear.
Perfection is often the enemy of progress, the analogy of water droplets wearing away stone.
It's the consistent daily action, even if it's small, even if it's imperfect, that creates real change over time. Each drop matters.
So the focus isn't being perfect or even better than others. It's just aiming to be a little better than you were yesterday.
And crucially, if you slip up, miss a day, make a mistake, just get back on track quickly. Don't let it derail you. Consistency is about persistence, not flawlessness.
Okay, what about getting help? The source talks about asking for guidance.
Yeah, acknowledging you don't have to figure it all out alone. Cultivating trust, faith, connecting to something bigger than just your own efforts.
Whether you call it life, a higher power, your intuition, the universe, whatever resonates, the idea is to consciously ask for guidance.
And then learning to recognize the signs. They're often subtle, right? A feeling, a nudge, a coincidence that just feels significant.
That exercise of just sitting still, hand on heart, and asking, what's the next step? It's about tuning in, listening inwardly.
It's reassuring, isn't it? You're not alone. There's support available, often more powerful than our fears.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about aligning words and actions. This is huge.
Oh, definitely. The gap between what we say we want and what we consistently do. It's common.
Talking is easy, the source notes, consistent action, that's rarer.
And it highlights how breaking promises to yourself really undermines your self-trust, your confidence in your own ability to follow through.
But when your actions do match your words, that creates integrity. You feel more powerful, more unstoppable. You trust yourself.
The examples make it clear. Saying you want to learn Spanish versus actually practicing daily. Wanting to be healthy versus actually going to the gym. Wanting to write versus writing that first page.
Start small, it advises, but be truthful. Let your actions reflect your intentions consistently. That builds momentum.
And that builds nicely into the next point, really believing in your own potential.
Yeah, the inspiring idea that if other people have done amazing things despite their own struggles, why not you?
Remembering that everyone you admire faced doubts, pain, maybe lack of support.
Yeah.
But they kept going.
So the challenge is to ask yourself, genuinely, when you think about your big dreams, why not me?
Because ultimately it's belief, passion, and deciding to go for it that matter most. Not waiting for permission or perfect conditions. Great things often start when people feel they can't but do it anyway.
Which means we have to tackle self-doubt head-on.
Yes. The source uses those incredible analogies, the sheer improbability of your existence, like one grain of sand, one star, emphasizing your unique value.
And challenging those doubting thoughts, reminding yourself, you are not your past mistakes, you are not your fear, you are not your pain.
Like the baby learning to walk again. We have this innate drive to get back up, to try again, despite falling. We just forget it sometimes.
So reject those limits others might put on you or the ones you put on yourself, and just keep affirming, I will never doubt myself again. It's a practice.
Absolutely. Now, something that can really accelerate all this, having a mentor.
Right. The idea that nobody really makes it big entirely alone.
Right.
Mentors offer guidance, challenge, support, belief in it all when maybe yours is shaky.
And a mentor is just someone who's a bit further down the path you want to be on and who genuinely wants to help you navigate it.
The benefits are huge, aren't they? Saving time, avoiding mistakes, motivation, having someone see your potential.
And mentors can be anyone, somebody you know, someone online you follow, an author whose books guide you, even just a powerful message that resonates.
The key is to actively look for them. Find people whose energy inspires you, whose path you admire.
Okay, and the final message, which is just so important and comforting.
Ah, yes, you are not late. You are right on time.
Exactly. Fighting that feeling of being behind, or too old, or that you've missed the boat somehow.
Society, social media, they can create these artificial timelines that make us feel inadequate.
But your journey is yours alone. Your timing is perfect for you. The source reminds us of people who bloomed late Vera Wang, Colonel Sanders. Success has no age limit.
So it's about self-acceptance, trusting your path. I'm becoming everything I'm meant to be, and I'm right on time. Believing that.
And listening to your inner voice above all the external noise. Your soul knows your truth, as the source puts it.
Wow. Okay, so this deep dive, drawing from these insights, really gives such a practical yet profound roadmap for growth, doesn't it?
It really does. Clarity, courage, self-belief, consistency, alignment. It covers so much crucial ground.
Absolutely. So keep these ideas with you. Remember, you really do have the power within you to shape your life, and you're definitely not doing it alone.
So maybe here's a final thought to chew on, something to carry with you from our discussion today. What is that very thing about yourself, that thing you tend to doubt the most or criticize? What if that isn't a weakness at all? What if it's actually your greatest, most unique strength, just waiting for you to see it differently and finally let it shine?